Wings, Tatum Paxley and Izzi Dame are the new #1 contenders for the women's tag team titles. They will face Alexa and Charlotte after winning a triple threat elimination women's tag team match main event tonight. So freaking cool as well. What a corkscrew moonsault by Sol Ruca. Speaking of Sol Ruca though, big problems tonight as she accidentally hit Zaria with the Sol Snatcher. And it does feel like this is a major moment because we seemingly stayed on this for a while. They let us digest it. But as JC Jane was frustrated with Fatal Influence lost tonight, we would see some cars arriving in the NXT parking lot. First of all, it would be Stephanie Vaquer coming out, which is great to see her after she missed Raw last night. Followed by Tiffany Stratton. And then followed by Rhea bloody Ripley. What is happening on NXT? This is absolutely incredible. The challenge laid out. A 6-woman tag next week. Stephanie, Rhea and Tiffany versus Fatal Influence, who I think just really shouldn't show up to work next week, I'll be honest. But I have to once again mention that we are going to get the Cullings, Tatum Paxley, in the same ring as Alexa Bliss. You have no idea how happy that makes me. But don't worry, there is more breaking news from NXT tonight. A lot of it. This show is incredible. This is things you might have missed. Jodynne Grace, you really might have fucked up this time. I'm just going to put that out into the universe because Blake Monroe is completely and utterly unhinged. The woman from hell is back. And I'll tell you what, she said it. She wants to see Jodynne Grace in hell. It's Blake Monroe's character development taken to the next level. This was such a good vignette. It set the scene perfectly, and it does a great job. If you follow Blake Monroe prior to WWE, you know a little bit about this character, but you're seeing it now with a WWE presentation behind it. And obviously, if you've never watched Blake Monroe before WWE, now you're seeing this character, and you know the reason behind the character, you know the reason she's become unhinged, and it makes sense. Blake Monroe claims that she can make even the devil blush. And probably me too. Genuinely, I am super excited to see this character and how it's going to differ from the Blake Monroe we saw previously. It does remind me of the old Liv Morgan vignettes. Do you remember when Liv was in the bathtub and we all thought that we was going to get a dark Liv Morgan? Yes, she was a little bit more crazy, but they never really took it to that next level. So I'm interested to see what they can do with Blake Monroe. Tavion Heights would win the flag match tonight, defeating Ethan Page. No, it wasn't a championship match. After he buried Ethan Page in the Canadian flag, well, we got an unexpected return of Tyler Breeze. Prince Pretty is back, selfie stick and all, on NXT. Just before Homecoming, Tyler Breeze returns and takes a selfie with a downed Ethan Page. Does this mean we're going to do Tyler versus Ethan next week? I'm so down for that. I do believe that Tyler Breeze works like backstage in some kind of role with WWE. So although we probably would hope this is a full-time return, I doubt it is. It's probably just for the Homecoming show, but I'm not going to complain. I think this is a great move. Great to see Tyler Breeze back. Some big news ahead of next week's NXT Homecoming at Full Sail University. Next week it will be Obafemi and Ricky Saints on the Grayson Waller Effect show. So Grayson Waller will be heading to Homecoming next week to kind of interview the participants for the NXT title match at No Mercy. I gotta say, I absolutely love the start of this week's show. Javon Evans wasting no time coming out. Within 1 minute of the show beginning, Javon Evans is already diving over the top rope. What an exciting way to start the show for our first match of Javon Evans versus Josh Briggs. Much like last week, the crowd very unforgiving over Josh Briggs, once again chanting, "Briggs, you suck," and "go away" to Josh Briggs. And I'm sure they're going to be even more upset because Josh Briggs actually defeated Javon Evans tonight on NXT. Josh Briggs wanted to cheat. He wanted to use a steel chair with the referee's back turn. He would use a chain wrapped around his wrist to knock out Jodynne to pick up the win. But real question, right? Is this actually cheating? Because the chain was originally around the neck of Josh Briggs and the referee didn't make him take it off. So it was part of his attire. Is that cheating? The time to get excited is right now. It's happening. DIY versus Trick-Melo gang next week at NXT Homecoming. A lot of people thought this was going to be the way that NXT went after last week, but obviously we didn't know for sure. Well, we found out tonight as Trick Williams would bring out Carmelo Hayes. After a year and a half away from NXT, Carmelo Hayes is back. But while, yes, Trick Williams did introduce Carmelo Hayes tonight, not everything is rosy. Not everything has been forgotten. Problems still exist between Hayes and Trick, which means we are going to be doing like a can they coexist story next week. We are going to see probably tension between Hayes and Trick Williams. I definitely need a segment backstage on SmackDown this week of The Miz completely grilling Carmelo Hayes about, you're my tag team partner. Why are you doing things in NXT with Trick Williams? That needs to happen. And you know what? I really wouldn't be opposed to Trick and Melo actually working it out. And eventually this being how you call Trick Williams up as the tag team partner of Carmelo Hayes on the main roster. That would be a great way to introduce him, a great way to elevate Carmelo Hayes, and a great way to get him the hell away from The Miz. You know I hate it. Yes, it's still shit, but it was another match for the WWE Speed Tournament this week, and it was won by Lainey Reed, defeating Fabi Apache tonight. And yes, the low-key legend, Natty Neidhart, was in the audience. Not just Natalya this week, which I thought was really fun, as we do build for that match for Worlds Collide this Friday after SmackDown. With Lainey Reed's victory tonight, though, she will face Candice LeRae to then face Sol Ruca for the title. So, who's going to win that? No idea. Presumably that match is going to take place next week at Homecoming. That would make sense with Candice being there. Joe Hendry would appear once again as he was summoned this time by Cutler James during the tag team title match. He came through the wall tonight at NXT. Was I the only person looking at that wall thinking, hey, Joe Hendry was really lucky? We could have had Shockmaster 2.0. The tag title match was obviously Dark State versus Hank and Tank. And I've got to say, it was a really fun match in all fairness. It was actually class. Dark State would retain the NXT Tag Team Championships, though. The distraction from Joe Hendry was not enough this week. Does Joe Hendry, though, just continue to feud with Dark State now? Like, is he going to team with Hank and Tank, maybe? Are we just going to continue this feud? I don't know. We'll have to see in the coming weeks. While we're talking about the Belly Boys, though, I saw Vic Joseph retweet this tweet, right? Look at this. Someone in the NXT audience actually got candy from Vic Joseph. You know, at this point, that's like my dream. I need NXT in the UK now, Shawn Michaels. I need Vic Joseph's candy. Last week, the return of NXT Anonymous posting on Twitter, watching a little thing backstage between Ethan Page and Miles Bourne. Tonight, this would lead to Miles Bourne attacking Lexus King in the back. Now, Miles Bourne would actually turn the lights off. Big question. Who the bloody hell turned them back on? Another video package tonight for Lola Vice. I said it last week. I'm just going to repeat it again this week. These video packages are so good at telling you who Lola Vice is. There's no way at this point they're not going to put the belt on her. She is guaranteed at this point, in my opinion, to be the next NXT Women's Champion, right? A video package hyping up next week's Homecoming show would show off Triple H in the context of them talking about surprises still to come. So more surprises next week. They also showed us the Street Profits, William Regal, which will be great to see Regal again. Of course, Finn Balor was there. But most importantly, Bianca Belair. Are they actually going to return Bianca Belair next Tuesday on NXT? I mean, theoretically, they could return her on SmackDown, get the bigger pop there before her showing up on NXT next week. But is Bianca on the show? I really want to give tonight's show a 10. I really do. But next week looks like it could be even bigger. So how do you go bigger than a 10? I honestly don't know. I'm going to give it a 10 anyway. 10 out of 10 this week. Let me know your thoughts, as always, in the comment section down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Like the video, and I'll see you tomorrow for news. Peace!